Alright, welcome back. We've done stuff with parallel lines. Now, today, we're going to be looking at what it means when lines are perpendicular. So, perpendicular lines are lines that intersect to form a right angle, or in other words, they are 90 degrees. Now, much like parallel lines, we can do stuff with the slope to determine if it's perpendicular. So, if you know the slope of a line, the slope of the perpendicular line will be the opposite reciprocal. And honestly, a lot of people have a hard time remembering that, but let's just look at what that means. So 2/3, first I would change it to its reciprocal, would become 3/2, but because it's its opposite, it's now a negative. Here we have 1/5, so its reciprocal would be 5/1, which would really just be 5, and then you're going to do its opposite, so it would be negative. -7's reciprocal would be 1/-7, but we're going to do its opposite, so it's going to become a positive slope. So now when we're looking, two lines or two non-vertical lines are perpendicular if and only if the product of their slopes is -1. So if you think about it, if we started, for example, here, their slope was -2/3, and we took our slope here, which was 3/2, and I multiplied them, well, -2 times 3 would be -6, 3 times 2 would be 6, so that would simplify to -1, showing that those are perpendicular because it's that opposite reciprocal. And just remember that vertical lines are always going to be perpendicular to horizontal lines. So I want you to look at this graph and try to identify which lines are perpendicular. So here we have a vertical line because we have the equation x equals -2, and because here we have a horizontal line of y equals 3, they are perpendicular because it's a horizontal and a vertical line. On our other example, we have a slope of 3, so y equals 3x, and then over here, -1/3. So if we look, we have 3/1 times -1/3, which gives us -3/3, which is -1. So these two are also perpendicular. So now what I want you to do is pause the video and see if you can prove that this triangle to the right is actually a right triangle by seeing if AB is perpendicular to AC. So since we only need to know the slopes of the lines, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the slope between A and B first. So I'm going to have 0 minus 2, and then -2 minus 1, which gives us -2/-3. And then I'm going to do the same thing for our other. So we have 0 minus -3, and then we have -2 minus 0. Double slash, so this becomes 3/-2. Well, here, because both of these are negative, or positive, so the final slope here is 2/3. The final slope here is 3/-2. So we can prove that by taking 2/3 and multiplying it by 3/-2, which gives us 6/-6, which is -1, showing that they are in fact perpendicular. So it is a right triangle. Now if you can remember and understand that the slope of a perpendicular line is the opposite reciprocal, the process from this point of writing a slope-intercept form for a line that is perpendicular to a line is similar to the one that we were using when the lines were parallel. So here once again, for finding our line, we're going to take its slope, which is 2. So the slope for this line is 2, but now we're going to use the negative reciprocal. So it's going to become 1/2, and it's going to become -1/2. Instead of negative, we're just going to say opposite. Now we're going to use that slope and the point they give us, which is 2, -1, and write our equation. So y minus -1 is equal to our slope of our perpendicular line, which is negative 1/2 times x minus 2. Double slash here, becomes y plus 1. Distribute, negative 1/2 x. Half of 2 is 1. Negative times a negative is a positive, 1. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 1. So in this case, our equation is just y equals negative 1/2 x. Alright, so now it's your turn. Go ahead and pause the video, try this one out on your own, and see how you do. Once again, I'm going to find the slope, which is 5. Change it into its opposite reciprocal, which is going to be negative 1/5. Y minus 3 is equal to negative 1/5 times x minus negative 5. Double slash. Y minus 3 is equal to negative 1/5 x. 1/5 of 5 is 1. Negative times a positive is a negative. I'm going to go ahead and add 3. Y is equal to negative 1/5 x plus 2.